markets were taken by surprise with a surprisingly weak GDP stats released from the UK during the European session, and Andre Knight from fxKnight.com joins me once again to take a technical look at what's been happening.
Hi Peter. Well, today we got some rather disappointing news out of the UK. Their GDP came in at negative 0.5%, and also the prior quarter got revised down to 0.7%. So I thought today we'd take a look and see how the British pound fared against the euro. Let's take a look. What you can see on this chart is an uptrend that lasted on the euro pound for quite a while now, and basically today's news just helped give it its last little kick up. The question we have is, where is this thing going to reach its top? Best way to answer that question whenever you see a zigzag pattern like this is to reach for the Fibonacci tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click at the most recent bottom, because we're measuring an uptrend, hold my mouse button down and drag up to the most recent top. When I do that and let go, you'll see that we had a retracement to 78.6. Now 78.6 is a little bit of a tricky retracement. Okay, our rules for this one are a little different. What we're going to do with this one is split it up into two trades. The first trade trades from 78.6. Once you're sure that you've got a bottom and you're rounding back up, we trade from here up to 0 and no higher. We exit here no matter what, because look, very often you have a sharp and sudden pullback. Okay, so the first trade goes from 78.6 to 0. Then we wait for this resistance to break and retest again as support. Okay, in other words, our ceiling now becomes our floor. If you get that retest as support, you get to enter a second trade, which takes you from 0 up to 161.8. Okay, now one other advantage to splitting it into two trades. The overall move from the bottom to the top measures 290 pips. However, our first trade adds up to about 195 pips. Our second trade comes up to 161 pips. And as you can see, the total is greater than the sum of its parts. We'll see you next week.
So the purpose of this is to give you an insight into how the mind of a professional trader works, and you can maybe pick up some tips along the way. Goodbye for now.